Using AI without this is like going to a new doctor every week who has zero medical history on you. They're smart, they went to grade school, but they don't know about you. Every answer is just generic. Now, a lot of people use Obsidian for note-taking, but almost nobody is connecting it to their AI. When you do, one command loads your entire life contacts in seconds, and the AI stops giving you that generic answers anymore. Let me show you. Here's what's actually happening every time you open ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, any of them. You start from zero. You re-explain your business, you re-explain your preferences, you paste it in the same context you pasted in last time. It's like hiring someone new every single morning who forgets everything by the time they go home. And then you blame the AI for giving you mid-answers. The AI isn't the problem here, the memory is. Or more specifically, the fact that there's no memory. Everyone is debating which model is best, Claude versus ChatGPT versus Gemini. That's the wrong debate. The right question is, does the AI actually know you? How much AI knows about you? Quick context for anyone who hasn't really used this Obsidian. Obsidian is a free tool note-taking app. It runs on your computer. Everything is stored as simple markdown files, text files, nothing fancy. When I mean by markdown and text file, those are the files AI prefers. But here's what makes it different from Apple Notes or Google Docs. A normal folder is a filing cabinet. You put files in, you pull files out. That's it. But Obsidian is more like a brain, chain of thoughts, because it doesn't just store your notes, it tracks the relationships between them. You write a note about a client project, you link it to a note about your pricing strategy. Over time, you build this web of connected ideas. And here's the best part. AI can now read those connections, not just the files, the relationships between the files. That's when things get really interesting. Okay, let's start simple. If you've never touched the terminal and don't want to, this is your entry point. Take your most important vault notes, your business contacts, your project descriptions, your preferences, and drop them into Claude Project as project knowledge. Now, every conversation inside that project starts with context. Claude already knows your business, your tone, your goals, your current projects. You explain it once, it remembers every time. It can also be ChatGPT project, same thing. This alone saves you the first 5 minutes of every AI conversations where you're re-explaining yourself and it takes maybe 10 minutes to set up. It's not that difficult, but this is just level 1. Here's where it gets really powerful. So Obsidian released their own CLI, which is a command line interface. It's basically a bridge that lets Claude Code talk to your Obsidian Vault, and it doesn't just read the files, it reads the connection between them, which is pretty crazy because when you have a note, like thousands of notes that's been stacked over a few years, you just won't be able to find what you need from like 2 years ago, right? It's just impossible. You have no time for that. But now with the help of AI, that is possible. So basically what I'm trying to say here is nothing will go to waste. Think of it like a pilot's pre-flight checklist. Before you take off, you load all system, you don't fly blind. So here's what that looks like. You open Claude Code, you type one command /contacts. Whoa, hold on. These commands are actually not available to you right off the bat. You would have to make them. I'm actually going to link that instruction document in the description. So when you pasted this command, in seconds it reads your project files, your daily notes, your working contacts, all of it. Done. Now, when you ask it anything, it's not starting from zero. It knows what you're working on. It knows what changed this week. It knows your priority. You explained your business once, you wrote it into a file, and now you never explain it again. And that is not a hack. That's how delegation is supposed to work. And that usually saves time, but honestly, that's not even the impressive part. Here's what really blew my mind. I watched this video from Greg Eisenberg, pockets where his friend Vin, also known as Internet Vin, demo this live. I'll link it in the description. He built a command that scans his entire Obsidian Vault and generates ideas based on patterns it finds in his notes. So imagine a coach who watched every game you've ever played, every practice, every post-game interviews, and they just sit you down and say, here's a pattern you're not seeing, here's the gap that we need to bridge together. That's what this does. The AI came back with specific tools he should build, specific people he should meet, specific essays he should write, all pulled from notes he'd already written over the past years. He didn't ask for ideas. The AI surfaced them from connections he couldn't see on his own. Ideas that were buried across hundreds and thousands of notes in different contexts, written on different days. The AI snitched them together. And that is not a chatbot, that's a thinking partner that knows your entire history. Now, everything I just showed you is very powerful, but it all requires you to sit down, type a command, and ask. So what happens when the AI stops waiting for permission? This is where it gets a little sci-fi and honestly a little scary. Tools like OpenClaw can connect to your Obsidian vault the same way Claude Code does. These are AI agents that can run tasks on their own without you prompting every step. So it's like hiring a virtual assistant and handing them your personal journal, which you don't never want to do. They know everything and they act on it when you prompt it like that. You write it in your daily note, oh, I should schedule a call with Layla about the light show that we're supposed to see next week. And you don't type a command, you don't prompt anything. The agent reads it, it checks the calendar and just handles everything. Or you write, hey, I keep coming back to this idea for blah blah blah. An agent just notices that pattern across all different 20 different nodes and starts drafting a project plan. Now here's the thing, the vault is the constant. The agent is swappable. Claude Code, Codex, OpenClaw, it doesn't matter. They all read from the same exact source, your notes, which means you're not locked into the one AI. You're building a memory layer that works with any of them. So technically, the more you write, the better the agent's gonna know about you, about your life in general and everything. But with all this power, there's one rule I think is really critical. The AI reads from the vault and never writes into it. What I mean by that is, this might sound small, but it's everything. If the AI starts creating its own notes inside your vault, trying to refine some of the sentences, you lose something very important. You can't really tell anymore if it's finding your patterns or its patterns. The whole point of this system is that the vault represents how you actually think, what you care about, what you're working through. If the AI pollutes that with its own generated content, the source gets very muddy. So the rule is the AI works on the side, it reads your notes, generate ideas, build tools, takes actions, but when something needs to go back into the vault, you write it. You decide what makes the cut. That's how you keep the source very clean. One more level, and I'll keep this brief because it deserves its own video. Everything I've shown you here works for one person, but imagine a team, a shared Obsidian vault where your whole team contributes notes, project updates, meeting takeaways, client contacts, all connected, all linked. Now, any agent, Claude, Codex, OpenClaw, Gemini, can pull from everything your team knows, not just one person's brain. This concept is real. I'm trying to make this work with a client of mine, and if you're running a team of 2, maybe or 3 people, this is probably worth thinking about now. And let me bring this back to where we started. Everyone's debating which AI is the smartest, whose benchmark gets scored the highest this time, which one writes better, which one codes faster. That's like debating which doctor went to the best school while ignoring the fact that none of them have your medical file. At this point, the model doesn't matter if it doesn't know you. They need to know you in order to provide the best answer possible that is tailored only to you. And the way it gets to know you is through your notes, simple markdown files written by you, connected by you, updated by you. That's the real oxygen for AI. Not tokens, not prompts, your memory. Every note you write is another brick in the foundation. Everything you build on top of it gets better because the foundation just gets deeper and deeper. Look at this. Look at this, all connections right here. Isn't this crazy? And here's my actual opinion. We need to stop debating models. They're already really good. So start writing notes if you are not doing it already. Build a memory layer, because the people who do this now are going to have a real edge in 12 months. And it starts with a free tool and a blank freaking page. If you want to see me build a team vault with a real company in real time, subscribe as well. That's coming next.